What's up, everybody? You already know it's your boy, Minister Williams. And this is another portion or another section of frequently asked questions to a blind guy. So I'm on here because, as you guys may know, that I had an accident or incident, whatever you have it, in 2015, losing 90% of my sight and you know, regaining a small portion of it back within my right eye. Left eye is still still blind, but all in all, God is good, and He does things all in His will. Whatever His will is, those things will happen. And for me, I believe that excuse me, it was you know a eye opener. One of those signs trying to get my attention to let me know that there was a better way to be living my life, and how easy it can be taken away. The gifts that it gives you can be taken away within a blink of an eye. No pun intended. But I'm going to do two of the frequently asked questions that people ask me. And one of them is, how do I get around? Well, I don't drive. That's one thing I don't do anymore, unfortunately. But my wife is a driver. Also have my brother and my sister, James and LaShonda. They help me out with taking me places and transport, and also my mother-in-law does some driving also. But my wife is the head honcho of the driving experience for me, you know. So if I have to go anywhere far, or we're just going on family outings, I'm usually not the one that drives because my sight is way too bad for me to be driving anywhere. If you see me in the wheel of a car, call the cops and tell them that Edward is out here doing crazy stuff. He's in the car, he's in the driver's side, and he's driving. But other ways I get around, as far as local things, I can walk to, I walk to 7-Eleven all the time. I walk to, which is about a block and a half away from where I live. I also walk up to the store that's a block away from the house, and I don't need any help. But the way I do move around when I do go walking is, number one, I walk with confidence. Sometimes it bites me, sometimes it doesn't. But 9 times out of 10, I get around pretty good because I walk with confidence. I walk knowing that there may be a chance that I may slip or fall or trip or run into somebody, but don't let that get me, out of the focus of knowing that I have a destination to get to. Because when you're a blind guy, or what they would say in medical terms, visually impaired, you have those moments where you run into things and you run into people, you trip because you didn't see a crack in the concrete, or you fall, you might step your foot into a ditch or anything like that. The ground is uneven, the grass is uneven, and you don't know that because you're walking around without sight. Some other people, they use their mobility cane. I don't use mine, but since I left my school in New Brunswick, New Jersey in 2017, my teacher, who was great, her name is Melissa. She was a great teacher. She got me out of the whole funk of being depressed about having to carry around a cane and using a cane, what it made me look like, and how it took takeaways from my outward appearance, or what I was trying to convey as a person. I didn't want to be seen as handicapped, and I never do want to be seen as handicapped. But I do appreciate when people respect the disability that I do have. There's a difference between seeing me as handicapped and respecting the disability and respecting the confidence of my disability that I have for myself. You know, but this is a mobility cane. I have a ballpoint on mine which swivels around, and it swivels around because it helps you from side to side contact, point to point contact. It's how you use a cane when you sway it from side to side instead of picking it up, tapping it from side to side. So that's just a little bit about the mobility cane. But I don't use that, so sometimes I, you know, run into people, you know, maybe trip over a crack or something. But, you know, once I tell people, listen, I'm visually impaired. I know it may not seem like it, but, you know, I am. I apologize. You know, just simple, you know, courtesy, you know, and chivalry. Other ways of how I get around navigating my house, you know, I know my house. So it's pretty much easy for me to know where I'm going in my house. Uh, Sometimes, not even sometimes, I always run into something or trip over something because I have this thing where I know my house, or, you know, I know how to get around, so wherever I walk may be good. But I got kids. So sometimes you step on a toy, or sometimes you run into your kids. You know, my daughter, you know, she's a joyous spirit, if I could say so. She's always playing and in her imaginary world, and, you know, just being a kid. And I'm walking around, you know, like a ping pong, you know, just rushing to get the stuff, and I might run in there sometimes. I say, I'm sorry, baby, you know. But other than that, you know, I know how to navigate around my house. As far as the kitchen, the refrigerator, you know, I have to do touching and feeling to make sure what I can see is actually what I am about to pick up or touch or anything like that. Um, Other ways of me getting around is just navigation of, you know, if I'm in a mall or something like that, or if I'm in a crowded area, I don't walk fast at all. I don't walk fast, period. I used to, but I slowed my whole motion down because that keeps me from having those accidents where I'm going too fast and I trip over something and I can really injure myself. At least if I'm walking slow, and have a slow pace, if I do trip over something, I'm able to catch my balance very quickly. Yeah, so like when I'm walking in a crowded area or something like that, I make sure that you know, I walk slow and I just scan in front of me where I'm going to make sure I don't run into a pole, I don't run into a glass wall of a store, which I have done on numerous occasions. The most very embarrassing thing where you think there's a door there, but there's really no door, and it's just a glass. It's like those birds off of that Windex commercial where they're flying and they're like, hey, we're going to get in the house and get that banana. And then, you know, the crow flies off. He's like, I don't think you should do that. And he flies right to the glass. Yeah, that was me on the numerous occasions. Yeah, so I run into the glass glass windows all the time, especially in the store. Like H&M is one store I really don't like because I've walked into that glass window like 7 times and I knew it was there. So, you know, shout out to me being confident, right? But anyway, that's pretty much all about you know, how I get around. You know, I try to stay away from busy intersections. If I know a shortcut, I'll take that. And if it's even if it's the long way, I'd rather take that than going across a busy intersection, because that's where you really have to signal into your ear senses and make sure if you do have sight, you use the maximum amount of it to make sure you do not get hit by a speeding car. So I choose not to do the busy intersections. Now, another question that was asked of me, that usually are asked of me, or, you know, if you would like to, you can also send me questions too. Another question is that people ask me how do I get along? How do I move on from having such a tragic accident or incident happen to you in the prime of your life? Uh, you know, 25 years old and you lose your sight, and the doctors don't even know where it came from. They just know what caused it, but they don't know where it came from. Like, I had two strokes in the back of my eyes, never feeling anything, but those two strokes, they don't know where they came from. There was no disease, there was no condition that caused those strokes. My health was at its top tier. Um, you know, Even with me having an alcohol problem and being an alcoholic and smoking, there still my health was up to par. So the only thing that I can say to people is that it wasn't easy. Um, in that you know, once you start to look at the man in the mirror, as the phrase says, you'll start to realize that you know you're killing yourself, and you want to live at the end of the day. You know, I've had many nights where I cried. Um, Many nights where I wanted to kill myself. There's many nights where um, it's this feeling that really a person can't fathom unless they had the experience. When you wake up in the dark, but the electricity is still on. You know, all light bulbs work, all TVs work, um, but you're still in the dark. Everything is silhouette. Everything is black, and all you can see is almost like you're in a ghost realm, if you can say it. You know, um, it's very disheartening. It's very frightening because that's when I felt the most loneliest or the most alone, was in a position where I could not see. And, just 24 hours before that, I could see everything. Um, Recognizing people uh, was a hard thing because, I remember their face, I remember their voices, but I had to question who I was hearing. And that could be really, really hard because you want to know if the voice matches the face, and you can't tell that unless they tell you. And that was a very enlightening experience because it was like, wow, I will have to use my ears for now on to know who I'm reaching out to, who is reaching out to me. Could be situations where somebody is trying to, do harm to me, God forbid, and I don't know the voice. And I do know the voice, but I didn't put two and two together. You know, so it is really, really, the beginning was die, 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 die. Then it came along to it's okay, the stages of denial and all that. And it you I just had to come to grips with this is what my new normal is. Like how we are out here with the new normal of the COVID, this was my new normal. And I had to adjust to life as it does not adjust to me. Constantly adjusting, every day adjusting to a world that's ever changing. So, um, yeah, that the feeling that I had in the beginning was that, and then I started dedicating more of my time to God and praying and reading and just making myself and putting myself in a position to connect with God, to hear that voice that I've been ignoring the whole time. And God answers prayers, and the feeling of being able to do things um 50% or halfway normal like other people do is, you know, good enough for me because he didn't have to give me any of my sight back. He didn't have to uh, let me live after that. He could have killed me, taken me out after that. So how I feel and how I get through the day is God, my wife, my kids, my family, and just knowing that life is not over after your sight goes. It just begins on another level. So, if you guys got any other questions, you can ask me. I'm with it. You can ask me anything. I have tough skin, not easily offended. Just make them constructive, no disrespect towards me. Because if you're disrespecting me, you're also disrespecting all the people out there who are blind and visually impaired, who are trying to make life out of what they have been given. So send me some questions, like and share. Love you guys. God bless.